You don't have to write about what you do, but you do have to write about topics that interest your audience. And there's lots of different ways to find these topics. And I will explain to you in a moment where some of these things can fit into your online mix. But subscribing to the RSS feed or email list of popular blogs in your industry. You can subscribe to your competitors, right? But you probably don't want to be reposting that anywhere. So just to keep your thumb on them, that's not bad. I like to subscribe to blogs that talk about how small businesses can improve their marketing. And then I can use that information to share with my clients and to get better at what I do, because these people all do what I do, and I can certainly learn from them because they're smart people. Also, keeping a list of frequently asked questions from clients and prospects. And I tell people, when you're having conversations with clients, prospects, new hires, new members, when they start asking questions, there should be like light bulbs flashing in the back of your head, like, oh my goodness, I need to write about this. I need to write about this. I need to write about this. These are the questions that people have, the objections that people have, the concerns that people have, that, you know, they just didn't get answered. And so these, I think it's a great opportunity to educate people with that list of frequently asked questions. So then you can share photos, videos, events, and event summaries, especially if you are working with people that you know within your audience. So we share that stuff with our current clients because they tend to like it. Testimonials are great, of course. Checking out your competition, see what they're talking about. If they're talking about something on their website or their Facebook page and you're not talking about it, you may consider adding it. Also, advances in the industry. Featured clients. So one of the things that MakeCreate noticed, we've done email marketing for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now consistently, and we review our data all the time. And what we noticed is that people, our clients, like to read about other people. That's what they like, right? So anytime that we wrote an article about our other clients, that was really well read. Anytime that we wrote an article about someone in the office, that was really well read. And so we thought, well, that's really good information to know, right? People want to read about other people. So we thought, well, maybe what we need to do is stop making YouTube how-to videos because nobody's watching those, and start writing more about current clients. So we then launched a campaign where we write an article about a client a month, we pair it with a professional photo shoot, and that information goes out in our blog, in our website, on our social media, and now we also have a quarterly print publication because we stopped doing any other type of mailings and Christmas cards. So instead we have a quarterly print publication that goes out that highlights that business and what they do and how they use our services to help them build their business. And to us, that's cool because we're giving back to them. We mail that magazine out to the chamber list and to all of our clients, and we understand that that's what they're interested in because we've seen that in our data. And last but not least, industry-specific controversy. So industry-specific controversy is sort of along the same lines as objections. So great example right now, if I owned an airline, I would have my people out there talking about the situation in Malaysia. A plane disappeared. Everybody's talking about it. How did this plane disappear? I mean, like, seriously, did these things actually just happen? Planes don't just magically disappear, right? So if I were an airline, I would have my industry experts speculating. How did this plane disappear? What do we think happened? I would also have them talking about how our airline guards against this type of stuff. We've never had a plane disappear. Ever. So we're not really worried about our planes disappearing because these are the things that we have in place, our checks and balances, to make sure that planes do not disappear. So that way I can keep people feeling comfortable. Another example, my Edward Jones agent always emails me every single time that the government goes into a complete freak out shutdown mode. Why? Because she wants to keep me calm. She's like, hey, it's cool, Monica. Remember that your investments are for the long term. So whatever the government's doing right now, you're still going to have your retirement when this is all over. And I'm like, okay, good. But she addresses it head on, and she says, here's what's happening. Here's how long I think it's going to take to resolve. Here's what's going on. So everything's okay. Everything's fine. But she doesn't ignore it. And I think that's really important. So you can use industry-specific controversy as a way to assure your clients, hey, I'm a professional advisor. It's okay. And two, to capitalize on that buzz, because they're concerned about something, it's in the top of their mind, you could be in front of them, and they may read your stuff more likely than not. So if you're having challenges thinking of topics, there's this cool website. HubSpot's really neat. I like them a lot. And they have a website that's a blog topic generator. So you type in your nouns and you click give me blog topics, and they give you blog topics. And some of them are a little crazy, but it's a neat thing to try out and see if you're having writer's block. And then I'll show you the way that I generate blog topics for myself and for my company. So I break it down into product or services. So this is sort of like goals, and I will translate this once again into nonprofit. So let's say that you want to improve attendance and you want to increase membership. And maybe one thing that I actually have a lot of nonprofits telling me is that they want to increase involvement from a younger demographic, right? So it may not be a product or a service, it may be an outcome. And then who's the audience that you expect that from, right? So for me, I might be talking about a service which might be content development, blogging. And then the audience would be a business owner. And business owner is not nearly specific enough. I should actually get a frowny face next to that, because it should be a specific type of business owner. So is it a small business owner? Is it a medium-sized business owner? Is it a business owner with in a certain type of business? Because all of them may act differently, right? So this is my buyer persona over here underneath the audience. And then I think to myself, what are their concerns? I take those concerns out of the buyer persona and I say, all right, they don't have enough time, because certainly they don't. They're not sure what to write about. They're not sure why they would do it. They're not sure how much to write. They're not sure how to write it. And then, you know, it's tougher for me to address concerns than it is for me to answer questions. So I like to think, what is the question? How are they going to ask me that question? So not enough time. How do I fit it in with everything else? So what are some time-saving tips that I could give them to allow them to fit blogging into their schedule? Or maybe they are not sure why they do it. So why would they blog? What are the benefits of blogging? And also knowing that the word blog to a lot of business owners is this word that just freaks them out, because they think that it means that they're going to write a diary about what they did that day. And so even just clarifying, like, what is a blog? What does it mean to be a business blogger? Does it mean that you're going to write a diary about every single thing that you do? Or does it mean that you're going to try to generate business and traffic to your website? It's a lot different than writing an online diary, because I can answer these questions. And it's interesting, too, as I come about. So one of the concerns that I hear a lot from tech people is, meaning like if your company has a designated tech person, they'll say, you know, website hacking, this website needs to be safe, right? And so I thought, oh my goodness, I need to, light bulb going off in my head, I need to write about websites getting hacked. So I thought, okay, I'm going to write a blog post. And by the time I got through with this activity, I had like 8 blog posts that I needed to write, because it was, why do websites get hacked? How can I keep my website from getting hacked? Why do hackers hack? And so on and so forth. So there were all these different topics that came out of it, because each one of these topics was, it could have been asked by a different buyer persona, A, And B, it had a very specific answer. And even though some of them shared content, that didn't mean that I wasn't going to write to that specific, answering that person's specific question. All right, so social media. I like to break this into this fun rule of thirds. And in your worksheet, there's this pie chart for you to fill in. So all of us have come in contact with people who are sort of like me right now, just talking, right? Just talking about yourself. That's what you're doing right now, talking. So they're going to tell you about their husband and how great he is and how smart their kids are and how their dog is better trained than everybody else's dog and how great their job is and everything. It's so great. And it's just about them. There's not really any conversing. There's no, you're not talking back and forth. You're just talking about them, right? And so after a while, you're like, oh man, wouldn't it be great if we had a conversation about something other than you or your kids or your dog or your husband? So, and so social media is really about developing this relationship, right? It's about a conversation. It's not about you. So in order to make sure that you keep a balanced relationship with the people, you can use the rule of thirds. So you would have a third industry-related post from an outside source. So this is where you're going to take all those blogs that you subscribe to and that you follow, and anything that you think would pertain to your target market, you're going to post it up there. So that way they can learn all the awesome things that you're finding. And although it seems strange to post things that are not yours, it's good because it positions you as an industry resource. It shows people, hey, I'm up on the trends. I know what's going on. You can come to me about this. You can ask me questions about this common, or about this current news article. I will help you understand it. And then you would have 1/3 brand promoting post where you talk about yourself. This is your specials, your events, your blog posts, your ebooks, all the things about you, right? You as a company, promoting your brand. And then 33.3%, the last third, would be your personal or professional interactions. So this is like, hey, we went to the trade show today, everybody's dressed up and they look really nice, or man, we opened the window and a bird flew in and it took 10 college graduates to get it out in a box. And here's a picture of it. That actually happened to us. It was quite interesting. And what I find is that my personal posts, my professional personal posts on the Make Create page get far more attention than any of the other ones. But I also don't want to not give, I don't want the whole thing to be about, hey, we're a bunch of people that hang out in an office and we're kind of quirky. I also want to make sure that people know I'm a professional and here's our stuff that we have going on. So when you break it into thirds, it gives you a nice balanced mix. Okay, so when you're writing about a specific product or service, make sure that you're placing yourself in the shoes of your audience. So especially when you're writing for your website, ask yourself what information would they expect to find. This one, having just joined Rotary probably 6 months ago, I was like, hey, I think we should maybe have a worksheet or something that we give new people so that way they know all the things that they're supposed to do when they come into our group, because I had no idea. I was just kind of like wandering through the mist, right? So for me, I was like, I didn't get what I expected to find. It wasn't on the website. It wasn't given to me when I got there. So that was something that was a good takeaway for us as a group. One key indicator, if you guys read your Google Analytics reports, is if a page on your website doesn't, like people don't stay there for very long, if they leave from there often, meaning they have a high exit rate, or if they bounce from that page, meaning that they come and they leave from that page may not share what you think it's supposed to share. And you may need to change the information on that page because it may not actually be doing what you meant for it to do. So one question that I get all the time is, should we share pricing on our website? And my question is always, does your competition share pricing? And, you know, taking that same example under what would tip the scales in your favor. So what can you share that your competition doesn't to show that you're awesome? So let's say that your competition doesn't share pricing. But let's say that your service is well priced, meaning it's right in the middle and everybody is, you know, all your competition is very similarly priced to you. And price is a buying factor. Like, people are going to look at price, and that is something that they need to make a buying decision. So in that case, I'd say, well, if nobody else is sharing price and you're right in the midst of it all, they're using price as a buying decision, let's give them the price in exchange for their contact information. So we can make a quote form for them where they can get an instant price quote on your website. So things like that can help you get the edge on your competition and get a lead, essentially, from your website. Alrighty, so when you're writing for social media, we just talked about this a second ago. Are you promoting or are you conversing? Making sure that you have this well-balanced mix. Nobody just wants to hear you talk about yourself. Over-contributing or under-contributing. And we're actually going to talk about how much or how little we need to contribute in a moment. And then keeping true to company culture, making sure that we are representing ourselves in the same way all the time throughout, especially if there's multiple people that are engaging in your online social media strategy. And stay positive. Nobody likes a whiner.